G'day all, happy Monday. All Things Bulldogs, Origin special. Just me having my say, getting my opinions out there. And here we go. If anyone wants to join, definitely just come and say hello. Just going to go over the Origin teams that were announced. The lessons I think that have been learned by New South Wales and Queensland from last year. I think Queensland's probably learned more in its win than we've learned in our loss, even though we've selected a side that I'll happily back and be cheering on. But, yeah, I think Queensland are definitely the front runners for this again. They are the favourites. They can't deny it. But there's some specific reasons why. And I think New South Wales have missed a few opportunities. But we'll see. Hopefully I'm 100% wrong. But look, game one, the teams that have been announced, that we've got the New South Wales side going along there. That we've sacked our captain in James Tedesco. I think it was time. I think they have to move on. I think Dylan Edwards deserves the shot, and he should be the number one. I was very happy with that selection. Teddy could still do the job and could still win a series with Teddy, I'm sure. But Dylan deserves it. He's been a Clive Churchill medal winner and the form fullback for the last few years. I feel that there's lots of issues around with our halves pairing in Nico Hines and Jerome Luai. But in saying that, I think Jerome's a better pick than Nico. Nico, hopefully he's injury free and he can play without emotion and just get in there and do his job and do the things he's been doing. He's the type of halfback they probably want for the style of game they're going to play. New South Wales have made no there's no secret about it, what they want to do. It seems to be the New South Wales methodology. They want to grind this Origin series out. It's all about work. It's all about meters. It's all about field position. It's all about grinding Queensland down. But unfortunately, that's exactly how Brad Fittler went about it. He picked sides which were Penrith dominated. And I feel that it's not the fact that there's Penrith players in there. It's just the style of play doesn't suit Origin. And I'll explain the reasons why. And we'll go over some of the stats from last year, which will show that, why it's such a different contest. They say it's the hardest, fastest game, but play the balls are slower than at any other time in the season. The ball stays in play for longer. They tend to put the whistle away, which does bring the fatigue into it. But at the same time, the play the ball speed is basically right bang on 4 seconds average, which in the NRL this year, we're seeing games, the Canterbury Penrith game, that first half was about 3.1, 3.2 seconds per play the ball. You take a full second out of every play the ball. That's heaps. That's a lot. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how that goes. You've seen the team that's been announced. I'll tell you what I like. I like the inclusions of Spencer Leniu. I'm a bit pissed off that Matt Burton's going to be 18th man again. And I think even if Hines drops out, Luke Keary will replace Nico and Matt will still be the 18th man. Matt's likely to get a position in the side if there's an injury to one of the outside backs, which is interesting. But, if there was an injury to, say, Dylan Edwards, they would happily put Stephen Crichton or Joseph Suaalii to fullback. They could try any of them. Zach Lomax could play there as well, apparently. Jake Trbojevic named as the captain, which is not a bad job. Reece Robson wasn't my pick for hooker, but he did a pretty good job last year. Payne Haas was first man picked. Liam Mountain right up there as well. Crichton's improved this year. He's definitely been better on the edge. And Cameron McInnes is one that I would have picked because I just love his leg speed. And it's funny, though, he takes a lot of those fourth tackle carries that Dylan Edwards takes for Penrith. He gets in there and gets those quick play the balls generated for their fullbacks. And they got pumped on the weekend, Cronulla. That was a big surprise. Mitch Barnett from the Warriors, I think being on the extended bench was worthy for him. I think Josh Curran should have been there on that full extended bench and been available to play this week. We'll look at the Queensland side as well. G'day, who's how you going there, Jaden? I think Birdo needs to be in the 17 somewhere, at least for utility cover. Yeah, well, I'd rather him play than just sit there doing nut twiddling his thumbs again. He did that twice last year and didn't play, and he sort of didn't come back to clubland in any sort of form either. So I think, yeah, it's going to be one of those things. It's game one in Sydney, and they've picked a side that they think can grind out a victory, that can defend its way through field position, through a kicking game, through positions on the field, that's going to annihilate that opposition, put pressure on their wingers, kick high, kick deep, and sort of keep Queensland contained. But guess what? That's what they did last year. And we'll go and have a look at it, eh? Let's have a look at what happened last year, because it's very important. New sides, obviously. We won't go to game 3 because game 3, there was a whole heap of changes. I'd rather look at the sides that lined up in game 1 for last year and compare them to this year. So let's have a look at that. Game 1, Maroons versus Blues. The Maroons won 26 points to 18. 5 tries to 3. They scored in the 7th, 10th, 56th and 73rd and 76th minute. We scored in the 31st, 43rd and 66th. Blues thought they were going to cruise to were getting on top. Thought they were going to win, and then 2 tries to the Queenslanders late in the match. Tommy Flegler also sin-binned, so they were down to 12 men when that happened, which was another thing that many have forgotten about. And if we go through the team stats, that's what it's important. Possession, New South Wales had 53% of the ball, which equated to about 3 extra minutes. Both teams completed around 78%, which is fair enough. That's a pretty good effort. Blues ran the ball more, made more meters, more post-contact meters, line breaks for 3 each. But the team with less possession making the same amount of line breaks, that's an important fact as well. Tackle breaks about the same compared with possession. Set distance slightly in favour of Queensland. Now, in saying that, New South Wales spent a lot of time in the Queensland opposition area, so their sets were sort of restricted a little bit. Kick return meters, so the likes of Brian To'o, and the like getting the ball back. Tedesco making plenty of meters. Now, the average play the ball speed game 1, it was the fastest game of the series, 3.71 seconds for Queensland and 3.82 seconds for New South Wales. So that'll tell you that Queensland managed the ruck a little bit better under sufferance. They were allowed to sort of lie on, and that's the whole thing. And this is what it comes down to, is that these G'day Bearded Tech from Vic. Thanks for the no worries, mate. My pleasure. Just getting back to it. These statistics are very, very important, because what happens in Origin is when you've got the refs putting sorry, I stopped looking at the bloody thing. Not that matters. You get to see me funny hat. The ref puts the whistle away in Origin, right? And when they do that, and the play the ball speed is slower than what it is in the normal NRL games, what they're actually doing is it suits a certain type of team that you pick. And that's why we need to look at the teams that Queensland and New South Wales picked for those series. Queensland, Walsh and Tedesco. And speed is everything. Walsh is faster than Tedesco. Teddy's not slow, though. Cobbo is faster than Brian To'o and gets similar type of contact meters. To'o has a bigger engine, though, and can go longer. Valentine Holmes is faster than Stephen Crichton. The hammer's fast, way faster than Tommy Trbojevic, and Tommy wasn't running freely at that point. Adokar is a lot faster than Murray Taulagi. So out of those 5 players, 4 of the Queenslanders were faster than the New South Welshmen. Now, it's important because the team that had less ball, had less opportunities with the ball, and I don't know if they showed the field position, but New South Wales had all the ball, all the field position with Cleary. He put them in the right spots. Queenslanders were able to hang on, actually led early, right? So when they got an opportunity, they nailed it. And the reason they were able to nail it was through the speed of their team. Tavita, we know what happened with him. So he was going well for 20 minutes, then offloads a ball and gives possession away. Happy missed a fair few tackles as he does, but he had a fairly good game. Ben Hunt, they do their thing. Ruben Cotter, David Fafita. Tom Gilbert injured himself pretty early, I'm sure, and was out for the rest of the season. Hudson Young didn't have a really good night, and he's one that I'm not sold on in Origin. He comes across as an Origin type player. He's aggressive. He puts in the effort. He tries hard. It means a lot to him, all that sort of stuff. But I think they know that he's one that's going to run the ball. He's the one who's going to try something. There's no real surprises with him. He runs good lines. He does his job every week. He probably deserves his spot, but I would have picked someone else. It's just the way I feel. Pat Carrigan, probably the best forward in the game at the moment. They had Tommy Flegler, Lindsay Collins, who's probably their best all series, Harry Grant and Jai Arrow. Tommy did on the bench. Matt Burton, 18th man, of course. Nico Hines comes on at centre late in that game and misses his assignment. Bad coaching, many will say. Cameron Murray, an absolute champion, we'll miss him. Junior Polo went all right in that game. Isaiah Yeo. It was the Penrith connection, and that's the whole thing. This team in Penrith that marches up the field through their back line, he gets up there through their back line, and then their forwards tackle their ass off, and then, Yeo out the back to Cleary, who dominates. And they just play at a speed that averages around 3.4, 3.3 seconds play the ball speed over 80 minutes. And teams try to go with them, and when they do, they generally crack. And when they crack, the points are applied. In Origin, when you've got a team which there's sort of parity in the middle because the forwards cancel each other out because the ruck is slow, you rely on that extra speed to be generated from your outside men to take opportunities. And that's exactly what Queensland did. Plus, they got the 40-20 in the game, and they won some pretty big moments in that game of rugby league. And that is why I don't think New South Wales have learnt too much from the side that they've picked this year. Game 2, Maroons win 32-6, right? So let's have a look at that. 32-6 they win. Reece Walsh and Jerome Luai both sent off. Adokar was sin bin at the same time for a shitty punch. But the team stats, similar sides were picked. Xavier Coates come in. I think Cobbo got injured. New South Wales had the better of possession yet again, made more mistakes chasing the game. Queensland were very, very good in that game at home. New South Wales beaten in line break 7-2. That was the telling part of that game. But look at the average play the ball speed. Again, up near the 4 seconds mark. Allowed to be even slower, which suited the faster team who are able to generate their own speed. Missed tackles. Queensland actually missing more tackles in the game than New South Wales. So if people want to sit there and always translate missed tackles to results, it's more of a thing relating to possession at the end of the day. If you have more possession, you generally make less missed tackles as a general rule. Less possession, more missed tackles. It's the way it works. You defend more, you miss more. Anyway, Carraz is better than Lomax. Got destroyed by Carraz and would have a better combination with Critter. G'day, Sam. Definitely want to talk about that, mate. The rugby league eye test, and I actually went and collated my own stats. And I can probably show that in a second. But Jacob Carraz, out of the 21 stats they look at, and they're not just your average stats from NRL.com or Fantasy League. It's looking at the whole, the off the ball stuff they do, where they run in the field, how many passes they get before they run. There's all these different things that they look at, which coaches actually look at a lot more. And Jacob Carraz wins 13 of those 21 areas over Zach Lomax. Some of them are really close though. They're sort of, you're not losing a lot by having Lomax, and you're not gaining a lot by having Carraz. But Carraz, statistically, is the second best winger in the NRL. And for the type of game that they want to play, that obviously Madge Maguire wants to play, that they're not making any secret about. They want to grind out a victory, Origin style. Sean Timmins kicking a field goal to win at 9-8 in the very death. They think they're going to go out there and do that. That's more likely at home at New South Wales at the Core Stadium than it is at Suncorp or Melbourne. Just with the way the ground is usually, although Suncorp's not that good at the moment after Magic Round and stuff, but a Core generally gives you more of the slog fest at Homebush there, and with a slower play the ball speed, less penalties and that sort of stuff, you tend to get little parts of the game. Generally the team that's the most fatigued loses, which is often the case. That's obvious, but the point I'm making, it's just not as an open affair usually at Sydney, and Mad just picked a side for that, and Jacob Carraz would fit into that structure no problem at all. You could put him on the edge with Critter. I believe that Joseph Suwali's selection, I hope he does really well. I don't care if he's going to rugby union. I just think that Mark O'Connell, here he goes. He's been silent because the Bulldogs flogged the Dragons by 44 points. Mr. Coach couldn't help him. Oh, it was all because of Sexton, wasn't it? That's right. But anyway, we'll talk about that tomorrow, Mark. We're talking about Origin today. But Jacob Carraz should be in that side, in my opinion. I think Josh Curran should be very close to that side. I would have had Curran over Hudson Young, just as versatile in that area. It was Sexton, of course it was. Well, that's why you need to start looking at the rugby league eye test and stuff like that, because the Hollywood moments are all people care about, but it's not how the games are won. I don't know if you've been keeping up, Mark, but the reason Queensland won last year is they had a team that was faster and more athletic in their back line. The forwards cancelled each other out. The ref puts wasn't too many. No, mate, if I did, I would definitely nurture it. If I had a voodoo doll of you, I would nurture it and be very nice to it. I can tell you that much. Hope you've been all right. You haven't been anywhere. Haven't been on the group. So, anyway, the Mark O'Connell show. just seeing where everyone is. Sorry, I got off track there, guys. But we'll be on tomorrow doing a live tomorrow night, probably about 8:30, discussing Team Tuesday, and Sexton at 7, Hutchison at 6, and trying to hose down people who think that we should have bring Joey O'Neill up to number 6 and forget about Hutchison and all that sort of stuff. But oh no. Bloody hell, mate! You're what? When St George, when Flanagan nearly scored and Buddy Little went over for a 12-6 lead, what happened? You got all bloody chesty. What happened, mate? You got. Well, thank God for Toby, hey? Thank God for Jamin Salmon. What about those 2 tries, hey? Mark, well, we know if Queensland win the first game, they're going to win the series. Whether Queensland win or lose this first game, they're still going to be big favourites to win because the New South Wales game is obviously the hardest one for them to win. Playing in that sort of slower field with the ref putting the whistle away and play the balls slower than what they usually are, which is the way Origin has turned into. It suits a team with the faster backline and the more cohesive backline. And I think Queensland, if they put it together, and they could win this series 3-0. And we'll just see how good Madge Maguire is, because a lot of people have said if Madge Maguire had the team he wanted, had a really good side, he would be a great coach. I'm just not sure. I think Billy Slater is a smart customer, and I think he knows. And that's why I'm going to talk about Selwyn Cobbo on the bench, why I think it's a very smart move for Queensland. And I'll tell you why. So let's look at the Queensland side. So they've got Reece Walsh, Xavier Coates, Valentine Holmes, the Hammer, Murray Talalagi, Tommy Dearden, Daly Cherry Evans. And then it's, their forward pack, Cotter, Lindsay Collins, Ben Hunt, what's his name? Jaden Sewer, probably earned his spots, Jeremiah Nanai. So that's the sort of player that's going to have a really big Origin. Jeremiah Nanai hasn't been in good form. Pat Carrigan, in a losing side the other day, God, he made some massive hits in that game to try and spark his team. Harry Grant, Mo Fodawaika, Jermaine Hopgood, who deserves his selection, and Selwyn Cobbo. Felice Kafusi knocking on the door, the old fella, Brendan Piacora, who scares me a lot, and Ezra Mam, who scares me more than any of them. But if you want to know why Matt Burton isn't in the New South Wales side, I'd look at a player like Tommy Dearden, and I would say, look at the reason he is in the Queensland side. Now, Matt Burton's had plenty of moments this year where he has been the only person in support. He's been running the hardest. His aggression in defence has been a lot better. He's definitely playing at a hungrier sort of level this season. But consistency-wise, if you go and watch Tom Dearden, he just runs himself ragged from the start of the match to the end of the match. And that's like the eye test that I use when I go watch the youngsters play. The person who comes off the field and their face is redder than everyone else, they've got scratches, they've got blood on them. They're the ones who put in, the ones who, could go blow candles out and sing happy birthday to themselves. Sometimes Matty Burton fits in, as much as he's fantastic and he hasn't reached his potential. That's the difference between him and Dearden. If Burton was to become more obsessed with his effort, and I think he's done a lot better, as I said, but he needs to go to even another level if he's going to be selected for New South Wales and all that sort of thing. And I think that's what Cameron Serraldo talks about. Every time people mention Matt Burton to him, he believes he's got another 2 or 3 levels to go. and that's scary. And hopefully that faith that he has in Matt pays off for Matt, for New South Wales in the future, and for Canterbury Bankstown. But that's what I think there. Back to the comments. Love your work, Dogfather, Bulldogs analyst. Thank you, Valerio. Appreciate it, brother. How does Suwali get a run? Oh, if you watch his games, he has had a good season, but I couldn't put him ahead of Carraz. Nor could I put him ahead of a couple of players. I would have had Jesse Ramian in there. But look, young Suwali is a goer. He's definitely a goer. Like, he puts the effort in. G'day, Tim. Go the Blues, 1-12, and Brian Tyler to score the first try. I might put that bet down there, mate. I think if New South Wales are going to win, I think it'll be 1-12. It'll be the way that they expect they're going to win. I think they think they're going to hold Queensland under 3 tries and hopefully score 3 themselves. I think that's the way they see it. It's not a team picked to score 40 points, that's for sure. Unless, they wear Queensland down and Queensland then get someone in the bin or something like that. And then we could see the points open up. But I'm not sure. Oh, I've seen the light, have I? Is that with Burton? And the last bit with that, Mark, that was just for you in your cardiac ward, mate. I'm just trying to make you feel good. No, Matty Burton, he's been wonderful, but he can be even better. But there's no way I'm going to criticise him. But the difference is Tom Dearden is just a threat for 80 minutes in attack and defence because he just doesn't quit. He makes mistakes, makes errors. I don't think he's half as talented as Burton, but he definitely earned his spot. But Ezra Mam, he's better than Tom Dearden. Ezra Mam will probably, be regarded as one of the best 5'8" halves to ever come out of the Brisbane Broncos. He's been that good since he was young. And Tommy Dearden was rated as, they were saying he was going to be the next Alfie. So they could be the two that run it together, which is scary. Timmy Gray, I'm surprised Lomax was selected. I would have Targo in the back line or the Fox. Yeah, well, Targo, Tungo, or whatever they pronounce his name, mate, he's a very good player. And I can see, he played a game for Samoa with a broken shoulder, took an intercept and scored. That was that first game and they got flogged. And then he didn't play after that, I'm pretty sure, but they ended up making the final against Australia. And yeah, he's a good player, man. They reckon he could play 5'8". He's got that much skill. Yeah, but we'll see what happens in regards to that. His name was mentioned a few times, but not by many. Look, I'm glad for Canterbury's sake that Jacob Carraz is going to play centre for the Bulldogs this week and Josh Curran's going to be there. I'm expecting... I'll answer this next question because I think that'll sort of tie well into that. Skankart. Cartman's ass. Hey, mate, you think the Dogs can still get it done this weekend? No captain and no Burton, no kick out for a few weeks. I think they can get the job done. I was sort of hoping that Tyson Frizzell would get picked for New South Wales because I think he has been, every game he's played for the Knights this year, he's been probably in their top 2 best players. He scares me. He's only one player. They've lost Bradman Best. They don't have Ponga. The young fella has been doing really, really good replacing Ponga. He actually smashed the Bulldogs last year in reserve grade and stuff when in the game before the Knights flogged us 66-0. But look, the team that's going to come in, Wilson goes to wing, Carraz goes to centre. Hutchison goes to 5'8", and you've got Sexton at 7, and then they bring big Poasa. I think Preston just goes onto the left edge where Kikau was. Salmon will stay on the right, I'm pretty sure, to keep that sort of structure going. I think Hayward will start again. Well, they might, because he had that little knee bump, and I'm not sure Kurt Mann will be ready. So yeah, I think we will see Poasa get a chance. I'm not sure if Kitiani Katonga is back from suspension yet. He might be one who's a chance of making the side as well. We might see a young fella that's been playing New South Wales Cup get on the extended bench, like a Harry Hayes or Eli Clark or something like that. Obviously, Blake Taff will be on the extended bench. But there you go. Tim, who do you think will be the Bulldogs' halves against the Knights? Do you think Kickout's a big loss? Preston and Salmon in the back row should cover the loss of Kickout. Yeah, well, that's it. I think the game's going to be an absolute grind-a-thon. The Knights losing Ponga, I think they've just gone back to basics. And I sort of said that to me mate Dane. He was suggesting that, Ponga's a hindrance to them when they're out of form, because they sort of, it's like they don't all step up. They expect he's going to make everything happen. And when he's not there, they all take on the responsibility, and there you go. Like, they're all doing their jobs again. And it works. And they've been winning some tough, close games. And they're going to be very, very tough to beat. If we can win this match, we then get a nice long break for the Parramatta game. I'm not sure if Para are playing this weekend, but I'm pretty sure they get a longer rest than we do. I'm not sure. But that'll be the following Monday. So Burton will be back for the Parramatta game, and Critter will probably play as well, unless they want to rest him. I'd say he'll want to play, though, being the captain. So Blake Wilson's the player that comes in. G'day, mate. There you go, mate. I'm not sure if you're going to change the name on your channel. I saw your little survey there. I voted to keep this name. Hope you're well, mate. It's good for the doggies. Have had 5 wins already. Give us a bit of happiness, yeah. Eels versus Sharks this Thursday. All right, so Eels versus the Sharks on Thursday. Then they get the longer turnaround, 1 day extra into the Eels versus Bulldogs. But, 10 days versus 9 days. But that's just their whole season. Yeah, I think people are used to that name, man. Keep up the good work, brother. Just keep chugging along, doing your best. So, yeah, back to that question, Timmy. I think Preston and Salmon will get it done. I was very happy that that Jamin scored those couple of tries. They definitely didn't expect him to be the one coming off, coming back through the ruck. Oh, awesome, man. Awesome, brother. So happy for you, man. Fuck yeah, go the doggies. Yeah, it will be Hutchison and Sexton, man. Sexton will kick the goals, you're right. I think it'll suit Hutchison playing on the left and sort of just playing that running player. And he'll be able to help Toby out. Toby can do them long kicks. He's got a good kicking game. I think Toby will enjoy having that. Hutchison won't run as wide as what Burton probably does. But I'll be looking for Drew to give early ball to Jacob Preston, and Preston to be making some good yards up along that left edge. I think Kikau's a big loss. He's our only enforce, actually puts fear into teams when he's running the ball. Big loss for the Dogs, but I still think we can get the win. Yeah, he is. He's just that player. And look, he misses a lot of tackles, but it's all from the pressure. And that's his job on that edge, is to scare teams into error, to cramp up their edges and make it hard for them. And that's exactly what he does. So, yeah, that's what I miss more about kick out, more without the ball than with the ball. Because that's the edge back row's job. It's what they're doing without the ball more. And he works his ass off. People say he's lazy. I don't know why. He gets tired, does some dumb things and makes mistakes, but that's not laziness. He's a pretty big boy playing, how many blokes that big are playing 80 minutes? He's playing 80 minutes nearly every week. It's a big loss. That's right. Hit the like button, bloody oath, brother. Thank you. I'll get to you. Bailey Hayward at 6 or too early? Well, at the start of the season, it was too early for Bailey. But now he's doing a really good job. And I think he's enjoying being in the middle. If we move into an edge, I think it could stun his confidence a bit if a couple of big fellas run at him. And his defense has been good, but keep him in that middle. He's able to use his speed in the line to get up there, get around their legs, put pressure on them, and while the other troops arrive. And that's exactly what he's been doing, getting in low, putting his head in good position. There's been a few times I'm like, he's going to get knocked out, this kid. But he's got good technique around the legs, and that's the difference. The Dogs are hitting the legs first in a lot of tackles, unless the speed of the play the ball is allowing the attacking team to single one of our guys out when they sort of backtrack us. For the most part, though, we're attacking with our defence. Our line speed, we're getting the blokes in there low early, and it's just choking teams down. And that's why teams are making a lot of errors against the Bulldogs. It's just all about getting that fitness and cohesion together. And it's been great, because I can tell you now, if Toby Sexton started for Canterbury this year, 5 rounds in, I don't think we would have won any more games. I felt we did all right in those games. And I 100% believe that people would have been calling for his head and blaming him. We all saw what happened. They're blaming Burton, and there was Hutchison was the new Parham, and bloody hell. Toby has built his confidence up. The team's confident. They believe in what they're doing. They bring in the half with all the skills, with all the upside, with all the speed, with all the, it's a good time to bring him in. I think if you watched the Roosters last year, Robinson said he wished that he started with Hutchison and his halves at the start of the season, because he thinks they could have finished higher up the ladder. He was always going to bring Sam Walker back. He dropped him to take him away from the spotlight, take the pressure off him, get him to work on some things in New South Wales Cup. He then got injured, unfortunately, but came back, worked on it. Hutchison steered him through, got him on a winning run, played some good games, and then Hutchison didn't even make the 17 for the semis. So it's all about your squad and using your squad for a long season. And I think Canterbury are trying to do that. I really do. Anyway, Matt Burton should have been picked in the team. His 18th man, really, Madge? 100%, brother. Like 2 games last year, 18th man. Fuck. G'day, Jamie. Hope Skeleton gets a run. Look, he's one of my favourite players. A lot of people think he's fantastic. I don't think he will get a run, though. But we could do worse. We could do a lot worse. And honestly, I think if he was named, many people would be happy. And I think I'd be excited too. Look, I've been sitting here defending Drew Hutchison all season, but I'm more defending the process, defending the coach, defending the Mick Potter, the New South Wales Cup coach. He's the one. They're all working together, letting each other know who they think should play where and what. They do that at Canterbury. They all the coaches and volunteers and that, they all get asked to submit the best 17 for Canterbury, who they think it would be, and where they think they all get a buy-in and get asked for their opinions. It's not because they don't know. They're just trying to find out, get as many eyes on things as they can. It's not that they're going to go and use that information to make their decision, but it's, someone might suggest something that's out of the box and they might, investigate it. And as I always say, another set of eyes on things never hurts, never hurts. But you know who the boss is, you know who your decision maker is, but you're always able to give some feedback and give a thought. And I think the club does that really well. They're very collaborative. Valerio, worst defense last year, second best this year. Amazing improvement. Well, as Big Mark says, the stats don't lie. The stats don't lie around that sort of stuff, do they? You like me Blues hat? Yeah, second best defense. As I said, we should be sitting at about 7-3, I reckon, this season, or 7-4, or 8-3, easily. I could tell you what, if we were 8-3 right now, I'd be putting my house on the Dogs. Timothy, I think Josh Curran is unlucky to miss out on Origin. He's probably close to one of our best buys from the off-season purchases. 100%, mate. As I said, I named him as a player we had to get. I named him, Terrell May. I'm glad we didn't get now. Who else is there? There was a few others. I think put Cody Nicarima in there. Many people would have laughed at that one. I had the young fella from the Warriors, Luke Metcalf, but again he's injured as well. So it's if you can select 5 players you really want to get and get one of them, you're doing all right, is what I reckon. And Josh Curran, look, when he played in that Indigenous game, played 80 minutes, the amount of try-saving tackles he made, I should have told everyone he's an Origin player. He's someone who's just going to get in there for the cause and work his ass off, hit up the ball. And, someone was saying he's a cat into the contact. He's just smart into the contact. Like when he was taking those first hit up runs for the team against the Dragons, a much bigger pack, and he was getting sort of owned a little bit. He was sort of having to be careful he didn't knock himself out. You can run as hard as you want into some of these walls these days with these athletes. They'll knock you out if you don't run it properly or don't run it smart. He tries to get between the defenders. He uses his legs. He's a smart player. Got a couple of offloads on the weekend. I just love him. I just love the amount of effort he puts into defence as well. He's just a trier, and as we often say, he's one of those players that Queensland would probably pick. Thanks, brother. Skelton. My mate Pete calls him Skeleton, Jamie, so it's all good, brother. How much of the live did I miss? It's been going for about 43 minutes, man. Although it took me 7 minutes to get to your question. Haywood, Man, Marnie to rotate, or Turpin if Man not fit. I think Turpin will be in the side if Man's not playing. I think Turpin will be the 14 with Curran. I think will start on the bench again with Poasa and Moran. I think Haywood will start with Preston and Salmon, and then you'll have Hughes, King, and Marnie in the front row. Yeah, thanks, bro. It is bloody bullshit that Burton's not in the side. Should have been 6th for New South Wales at 14th. 18th man's just a waste. Yeah, it's just annoying. But it is what it is. What can we do about it? He gets to be with the boys. But yeah. And who knows? He might have to come on and win the game. Wilson on the wing, Kraz the centre. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen, Timmy. Welcome back, brother. Welcome back, Mark. Wilson will be there. If it's not Wilson, it'll be Skelton. but I think Wilson has the jump on him. But he was 19th man last week, so he's on the edge being brought back in. He's not the Fox, he's not Carraz, but he's the next man up. And he's a pretty good next man up to have. Yeah, let Matt play for the Dogs if you're not picking him in the team. Not laughing at that, Aussie. I'm looking at the next comment that's coming up from Mark. If you're not picking him in the team, yeah, I agree. The 18th man should be able to play for their club. They've got 5 days to be the 18th man, you know. It's just bloody annoying. No, he's not the best winger in the club, Mark. Josh Adokar is the best winger in our club for what a wingers can do. He's dynamic. You know, he's bombed a couple lately, but he leads line breaks in the competition, mate. Wilson was doing all right, made a few himself. He also made a lot of errors early on in the season, which went unnoticed by many. Unforced errors, most of them too. Like, there's a couple in competition. He seems to handle them all right. I think Blake Wilson hopefully is one we can keep because I think he's more than just a winger. I actually believe he's a very, very accomplished fullback and could develop into that as well. And I would never write him off for that. And the fact he showed he could play fullback quite comfortably, obviously he needs to work on his defensive organisation. I think that's one of the main reasons Gus put him on a 2-year deal and kept him with the club. 100% agree Burton should be in the team for New South Wales. 100%, man. We lost out of the 6th because he's 18th, which is a bloody joke and total bullshit. Sure is, mate. And this we're complaining about it last year too. I think we're having the same complaints. Love. Thanks, brother. I'll turn it around. What year is this from? Does it even say? State of Origin Blues. Wizard. It was when they were the Wizard New South Wales Origin Blues. I think I got this for 50 cents. One of those shops, you know, that sell all the little merchandise and stuff. It's closing down. I went down there and got, I think I got like 30 little miniature kids outfits for you know, playing strips. Sold them on eBay. I got them all for like 25, 50 cents each. They were just getting rid of everything. Made a shitload.
While miniature dog clothes are great for attention and play, there are safety concerns to consider with games.
Bloody good old Google AI. I just think it's going to start answering me question. Thanks, brother. Josh is a gun, 100%. He is a gun. 100% he's a gun. Blake Wilson will be a gun. He's not there yet. And I don't know. But look, as I said, I'd rather have depth than no depth. Scan cunt. Josh Curran is one of the best signings this year, period. Dogs should throw him a 3-year extension ASAP. Oh, I think he'll be getting a good $600,000 or $700,000 contract, old Josh. And he'll be going, I think we'll be paying good money to keep him because we're going to have to. It's just as simple as that. Spencer Lanier was selected ahead of Mitch Barnett. Yeah. Look, I think Spencer is a good signing for the Blues. I used to love what he did. His aggression, doesn't often make too many mistakes, doesn't give away too many penalties usually. In spite of what happened earlier in the year, I think he's a player that if Payne Huss and that lay a good platform early and he comes on and adds to it, he's just someone that I believe should have been in the New South Wales side a lot earlier. He should have been picked last year, in my opinion. I can't believe he wasn't. And there's been nothing wrong with his defence. What are your thoughts on Tom Amone coming next year? Tom Amone, I think, look, he's a front rower. I looked at his highlights and he seems to have good footwork. He's got a low center of gravity. He has good post contact. I'm not sure how many. I'm pretty sure it's an opportunity signing for him. It's a 2-year deal. That's what they're doing. They're giving these guys 2 years deals, which makes them burn. They either come to the club and show that they can earn an extension or earn their place, earn their future, or they're easily offloaded without too much issue. And, there hasn't been too many come to our club this year and get shown the door. And I don't know if there will be, Obviously, Harrison Edwards is gone. Bailey Biondioto is gone. 2 players I had a lot of time for. I did features on both of them. They got opportunities. But I can't say I don't know if we're better off or worse off, but it's looking like we're in a slightly better position, We've sort of gone 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's all right, as long as you're going 2 steps forward and only 1 step back, rather than bloody 2 steps back and 1 step forward. You know what I mean? Oh, YouTube, it caught you up, did it, brother? The Fox should have been picked too. That pisses me off too. Yeah, look, I think the Fox, he's definitely went and toughened his body up, man. He added on 5 kilos. He knows he's got to do more of the tough stuff that's what the wingers got to do now, but he's still got his speed. He's still leading the line breaks in the competition. That's got to be something. You're not getting, but the problem for the first 2 Origin games, they didn't give him the ball. In the 3rd game, he got the ball. They found someone who could pass him the footy. Luke, how you going? Who'd be the halves pairing with Birdo at Origin? I prefer 6.5. TAFE at 5'8". Yeah, that's what you meant. Yeah, well, Taft's not playing 5'8", mate, and I think we'd be a real issue having Toby and Blake as our halves pairing. Purely on the point from the defensive side of things right now, but Blake's in there. He made 26 tackles last week in reserve grade for his first game. They're just giving him a run at half, see how he goes. Trying to make sure we've got depth in the right positions. They know he can do the fullback thing, and I think he'll still have a fair bit to offer in this season if he doesn't get injured. Madge picked that dud from the Roosters at centre. What the hell is bloody going to rugby union? Well, I can get people's opinions with that, mate. I know he's going to rugby union. I watch rugby union as well. I love all sport, and I hope he does well in union. And he's a Rooster, so while he's a Rooster, I couldn't give 2 shits about him. But he pulls on that jersey for New South Wales. I'll be backing him like he's, my favourite player. I'll be wanting him to do well. And I know everyone else will as well. But we just don't want to be saying, I told you so if we lose. And that's the problem. I don't think it'll be his fault if we lose. But he's a goer. But I definitely would have picked a Jacob Carrez or Jesse Ramian ahead of him. Or even Matty Burton in the centres. Cheers, brother. Tom Amone will add a lot to the Bulldogs forward pack next year. Any news on whether the club is still after Trey Mooney for the Raiders? Oh, I thought a lot about Trey Mooney. When he came on for the Raiders the other night, he sort of changed the game a bit. He had 3 hit-ups in 1 set, and he offloaded twice, and then he got that last one, just managed to get it out the back for their 5'8", Weeks to pounce on, and then he actually busted through Burton and Cherry and went down, and then they all talked about Hudson Young, but they already had the numbers. We were backtracking, we were gone, and they just did what they were supposed to do and scored. But it was all about the Trey Mooney offload. And no, I haven't heard whether he's coming to the club, and I think Canberra will be trying hard to keep him because he's a bit of a beast and looks like he's got some talent. That's right. Fuck the Roosters. Not mad about the Fox being out because that means he'll come out and have a game, hopefully against the Knights. 100%, brother. Let's hope he does well. No, Tedesco, no chance. Mark. Tedesco, like, honestly, if you're probably a Queenslander. Teddy is a very, very good player, no doubt. And he suits the team he's in at the Roosters, the way they go about business. The way that Fittler and that wanted to play, it didn't suit it. I think Dylan Edwards is just going to do a job. Like, Teddy's probably the more brilliant player, but Edwards has got better every year with his experience and stuff. He's actually got better every year. He's more skillful than he ever was. But just his engine, Toto and Edwards, part of me was like, oh, we probably should pick Tedesco, put Edwards and Toto on the wing, and Edwards the other wing, but didn't really work out for the Australian side, did it? And sometimes you can have too many of the same player. It's a couple of commentators talked about having Jake Trbojevic and Isaiah Yeo in this team at the same time really doesn't help as well because it's like they do the same sort of thing. But I think we'll see off the bench because Yeo's on the bench is he's going to rotate through the middle and try and get leg speed through the middle of the ground, whereas Jake's going to be the one throwing the balls. And then when he gets a bit tired from defending, Isaiah will get in there and throw a few balls as well. And they'll rotate that bit. And Yeo can play edge as well. Like, he used to be a centre and a winger, for God's sake. Tedesco got out jumped from Collins last year, mate. His time is up. Yeah, well, I was absolutely ropeable about that last year. And I wanted Dylan Edwards in the third game last year. There'd be a video up here about it. Dane and I picked our sides, and yeah, I had Cody coming back in. I had the South Sydney connection, and it paid dividends. The thing about Cody Walker is when they've got numbers, South score most of the time. He just knows how to strip the numbers, knows how to count, and knows how to play it. And he just keeps it simple. Just gets the ball out to where it's got to go. Where so many teams seem to struggle. And Canterbury is a side that, well, although we've done all right against teams when they've been down players in recent weeks, I must say that. The Raiders, we scored 3 tries when they were down to 10, 12 men and 11 men. Hopefully the Fox scores a hat-trick and reminds the selectors why he should have been picked. Well, that's what we want, Timmy. That's exactly what we want. And Madge Maguire wants that as well. Madge wants all these players that didn't get picked to go out there and impress. And I hope the Fox is one of them, because I felt he had a real dig the other night against the Dragons. Like, it wasn't really the stuff with the ball. It was more so his efforts without the ball, which I was really impressed with. Time for a new era with Edwards, 100%, mate. Need the experience at the back. Oh, do you? I can't sort of get you sometimes here, Mark. What? So you need experience at fullback, do you? I agree, you do. But is Tedesco the best fullback in the competition? I don't think he is. Dylan Edwards is the best fullback in the competition, who's had plenty of experience in games. He played for Australia. He's won three grand finals, played in 4, and won the Clive Churchill. He can kick goals as well, and he's very bloody accurate, as they all seem to be at Penrith. I would suggest that he's pretty experienced. But I'm pretty sure you were saying that, Taff and Tracy shouldn't have been the fullbacks for Canterbury because they weren't the best fullbacks in the club. But I thought you need experience. Just messing with you, brother. 4 grand finals in a row is enough experience, 100%. Teddy's a legend, but he's had his time, 100%. Agree. Edwards is a good selection. If Pappenhausen was said, I think he would have been in discussion for the Blues. Yeah, mate. I think Pappenhausen's the best of a lot of them. I just said Edwards is the best, but as far as when it comes to Melbourne, you just watch the way that guy operates. Like, he just makes shit happen. I've never seen a player who can construct points so easily than Ryan Pappenhausen, just through effort and speed. But as far as the safe best fullback in the comp, that is Edwards. But Pappenhausen, I would have had him as me 14, to be honest. But just with the injuries, it's just so annoying. You should be playing for Canterbury, the team you loved growing up. I agree, I love Teddy Legend, but when your time has come, your time has come. I'm happy we haven't got heaps of Penrith players in the Blues team like it used to be. Well, Nathan Cleary would have been there, and maybe Jerome Luai wouldn't have. I don't mind the Penrith players. I just think that the issue is that they expect the Penrith side to go and play, the Penrith players to play the way Penrith plays, but they rely on a team which is fast, where the opposition gets penalised if they hold them down. And in Origin, they don't penalise them, which halts their momentum and stifles their attack. And then you got a player like Teddy doesn't really link up with that sort of stuff, and he ends up sort of running back. You got Jerome running it back in, then you got Teddy running it back in, and they're running into each other. It's just a nightmare. So I get what you mean. Talk about Luai playing at 7 for the Blues. What a bloody joke that was, Luai at 7 for the Blues. Well, he did actually start Penrith at 7, and he's been playing for Penrith at 7 for the last couple of weeks, and he's been going all right. But we'll see. Dylan's the number 1 fullback, and that's why he's picked. As simple as that. Yeah. You'll be handing out tissues to us blokes. But you don't have to. We've got them ready, mate. We don't need to hand them out. You don't have to hand them out, Mark. You can just say, you know what you normally say, Queenslander, Queenslander. You get muffled. I don't know which head to look at when you start saying that. Teddy wasn't experienced when he started out. He was young and hungry. Edwards might have another gear we haven't seen. Won't know if he isn't thrown in at Origin. Wally the Mad Wally. You know what? That's comment of the bloody night. Aussie Prison Stories. Appy should have been picked, but because who he plays for at the Clublands, why he wasn't picked. Yeah, maybe. But I'll tell you why I think Appy wasn't picked. He's suspect in the medal, mate. Like he misses tackles. He's definitely the most creative hooker, and he can, and he's a goer. And he's won grand finals for 2 different sides. You know what I mean? He's won, I think, 4 grand finals, or maybe 3, but 4. No, 4. I think. No, 3. He won 2 with Penrith and 1 with Souths, and that was his debut. Won a grand final on debut at hooker. Imagine that. Good player, man. And a Canterbury junior. And he was coming to the Dogs. They put it up. Appy Coruscant agrees to join the Bulldogs. Next day, he's joined Penrith. Good science to Tigers. First choice halves next year will be Luai and Galvin. Yeah, they'll go you all right, I reckon, too. He's good. He's a goer, that Galvin. Yeah, Mark's a Queenslander, mate. You should see him. He's uglier than you and me put together, brother. Appy has too many tricks in his bag. Madge is going for a basic hard team, which is why I think Robson was chosen. Yeah, I think you answered that for me, bro. He's gone for a defensive-minded team, which is exactly what I meant. He won 3. Yeah, he did, bro. Brady from the Sharks, Mitch Kenny on form should have been there. Yeah, I think they were in Mitch Kenny, mate. He's come along. He's come along a long way. He hits so hard. He's just a tough player. And young Brayley, I think, is one which, if you got him into the Origin arena, he could go to the next step. But the sad thing for the Sharks, or for players from the Sharks like him, they had the acid test against a Penrith side missing a lot of key players, and they got absolutely annihilated. That was just ugly. And I really rate Cronulla, but that put me in two minds. That's funny. So many teams got smashed on the weekend. I think maybe the players were getting a little bit smashed after Magic round and it flattened a few teams out. Maybe that's what happened. But who knows? We love the mate versus mate and state versus state, 100%. No mirrors. Got a mirror right here, mate. Oh, I thought it was Mark. I look a bit like you, Mark. Just more handsome. Yeah, 40-0. That was massive. So you're a New South Welshman or you're a Queenslander, Mark? Because if you're from Penrith and you lived in there, if you're one of these people say, oh, you go for the state you live in, if you're not born, if you're fucking like Greg Inglis, that's disgusting. Oh, so you go for New South Wales. Well, thank fuck for that. Fucking hope you do, or I'll be really pissed off. I can't stand wankers who are from New South Wales and go for Queensland. There'd be some fucker out there who fucking smash me. I don't care. You're a fucking wanker if you are born in one state and raised in one state and go for another state. You know, if you moved to Queensland when you were 2, I get it. I'm not going to call you a wanker. But if you fucking started following footy and you were a New South Welshman and started going for Queensland, you're a fucking wanker. And I had a couple of them in Wagga at our school and went for the Broncos. They're all good blokes now, but at school they were fucking wankers because they went for the Broncos. How could you go for the Broncos when you're born in Wagga Wagga? Like, that's disgraceful. I get funny like that. No, we're probably not, but mate, you're the pessimist, if there ever is one. Go the Blues. But I love you a bit more now, Mark, that you're a New South Welshman. I'll just say that. He's having an identity crisis. Where's your head at? Skank laugh out loud. Timothy, on that performance alone, I hope it's a catalyst for the Sharks to dial in. I don't know which game is worse for the Sharks, losing to the Tigers or the Panthers. I might be calling it early, no premiership. Yeah, buddy. I think they're a contender, but they look like pretenders on the weekend. I'll say it now. In the first 11 rounds, I think Canterbury look like a top 5 side. Compared across all sides in the competition, for the way we've played for the majority of our matches, I think there's probably only 5 sides that I think have played better. And the Bulldogs-Penrith game, even though we were down 12-0, we made 3 or 4 line breaks against them. And Cleary was out there. It was a little bit wet. Wasn't too bad though. And we absolutely went toe-to-toe with them. And, you know, it took a lot out of us. And then we had to back up early again on Magic Round as we usually do. And, you know, the Raiders got us after their bye. But it's all history now. Top 4 for doggies, dogs for life, 100%. You're a realist. I don't know about that, mate. Because I still remember you, Mark. Mark, you wanted Bailey Haywood, Toby Sexton, Joash Papali to start the season because you felt they were the best performed in the trials. But you didn't look at the opposition they were up against. That's not realism, mate. Realism is bringing them in when they've earned it. And hasn't the coach done a fantastic job with the timing of bringing in young Bailey Haywood, the timing of bringing in Toby Sexton into that must-win game against the Dragons when they were coming off a bye. We just played a team off the bye after a tough game against the Panthers. For Toby to come out and play, an 8 out of 10 performance was phenomenal. And the team, look, I don't blame Toby for that first try that was let in. Everyone, and if you were being critical, you could say Critter was at fault. The issue is that as Toby adjusts back into the side, there's going to be a little teething period with the defense. And it's not just him, it's the confidence and trust on that edge, which is why I was hoping Burton sort of was going to be in our side this week, because just to keep things as stable as possible. Toby's not going to have Critter there next week, and Jacob coming in, I think they're going to be a target for the Knights. The Knights left edge will be targeting those two guys on the right edge. And I think the left edge we should be all right. I think Hutchison will fill in well there on the left. Well, I bloody hope so. But yeah, I think Toby did a really good job. I think Hayward's been phenomenal. Bronson Cherry's been absolutely, you couldn't drop him when he come in. Just like you can't drop Sexton now after last week's performance. It's just the team has to rotate, has to have its periods of different players in the squad. It's such a long season. They've got to go through these peaks and troughs, and eventually we'll find the final 17 that are left standing, and hopefully in it at semi-final time, because that's the next big thing to talk about for the Bulldogs. But if we can beat Newcastle and Parramatta, or even win one of these next two games, we're a big chance. If we lose them both, no chance. It's going to come down to the depth of our squad being able to handle these next two games. And we would be minor premiers already. Bullshit. Serrato's not 10 weeks behind. I don't think you coached a team in your life, Mark. Crichton misread. Oh, here we go. Serrato has done a phenomenal job. And the fact that Toby Sexton has gone into reserve grade, got angry, not angry, in a negative way, gone out there, got better, improved every week. The team's got confident. I told you that from the start. The plan was for him to come in after about 10 games. I told you that, Mark. You didn't listen. You don't listen. You don't listen, mate. That's your problem. You listen to me, you'll realise that the club's got a plan. And Hutchison, if we'd lost certain games, Toby might have got a call up a little bit earlier, but he hasn't dominated New South Wales Cup. That's an absolute fallacy. He's played well. He's played above that grade, but he hasn't been, he hasn't outperformed Drew Hutchison throughout the year. But he was always the long-term option. And I'm so glad they've gone about it the way they have. And I think it'll pay dividends in the coming weeks. I really do. I've got to find out about Joash Tim. I'm pretty sure he got smashed ribs and he hurt his knee as well. I spoke to his dad. And it's funny because when he went off, the organisation just fell apart and they really struggled. They made a lot of errors. There was a lot of guys out there working their ass off, from what I heard. A lot of tackles made by the boys. That Dragon side is doesn't matter where they are on the ladder. The Couchman props, I'd be getting them into first grade pretty soon. Once that season's gone, just get them in there, nothing to lose. Let them toughen up. They're going to be a force next year. And Mr. Flanagan knows what he's got there. Sorry to correct my previous response. I was going to say the Sharks had two tough games against the Storm and the Roosters into Penrith. 100%, brother. Nah, he's all right there, brother. He's one of my mates. He just loves the Bulldogs and he loves his opinion. Mate, if you listen to me, you'd fucking wear a brown paper bag. Don't worry about him, Ozzy. He loves having a laugh, my friend. You're the chief antagonist. I'll tell you, Ozzy, Mark's actually good for the algorithm. He makes people comment and say things and gets people fired up, and they talk and they chat, and then that puts the algorithm out there, and and he likes everything. He knows what he's doing. He helps out a lot of people on Facebook and stuff. It's all good there, brother. Anyway, it's all in good love and good heart. But let's get back to New South Wales. I think Queensland and Billy Slater are a lot smarter. If it's a close game, I'd expect Selwyn Cobbo is going to be utilised. The thing is, Selwyn Cobbo, if he's sitting there, in the Sydney game, catching the ball 5 metres out with the Blues running out to smash him every day, he gets tired in the legs. He's a big boy. He's still developing. He's still not there. You bring him on when the heat's out of the game, fresh, in a tight situation after our boys Toho and Soali and Crichton and all them have been working their ass off. Dylan Edwards, there's 15 minutes to go. The game's tight. He's a player who's going to break open the game, whether he comes through the middle or comes out wide, whether they say, oh, okay, Reece Walsh has been battered by the New South Wales defence. He's tired. They put Selwyn back to fullback. The kicks, all of a sudden, he gets to do some kick returns because everyone's tired. I'm telling you, Billy Slater's not stupid. He's pretty smart. He knows that the New South Wales side are going to go out there and try and choke Queensland and grind them out of it. If they stay in that match, if their forwards match up, which I think that's where we've got them again, but we say that every year, that back line will punish New South Wales late in that match. I can see it now. I hope it doesn't turn out that way. I hope I'm wrong. But they've got speed to burn, and that's Selwyn Cobbo off the bench. He's not just there to cover the positions. They're going to use him to good effect. When the game's on the line or when they need something, they'll use him. And New South Wales better watch out. Cobbo at 13. Yeah, they might. Look, it's a bit of a laugh because I don't see him having the defensive concentration, you know what I mean, to be a good 13. But I'm telling you, he's a fucking nightmare. Anyway, guys, Mark's a good bloke, all right, and he's actually he's in a cardiac ward right now. So let's share the love. Let's share the love. He's having a few health issues, so he's in hospital doing what he likes to do. He's antagonise a few people, get you fired up. Anyway, guys, an hour and 20 minutes. Fucking hell. Thanks for having a chat with me tonight, guys. I was going to come on tomorrow night as well and probably repeat myself a fair bit. We've got one of the listeners and the Facebook people jumping on tomorrow night. He said he would. That's Brad Graham. Or Brad, I probably should say his last name. But Mark's got his full name there. He's got nothing to hide. Mark's a bus driver, by the way. He drives a bus. He's not a passenger. He's a driver. Oh, thanks for that, buddy. Now, Mark's actually about 50-something, 52 or something like that. He doesn't look a day over 40 though. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. It's been a real good fun. Enjoyed it, and I look forward to chatting to you tomorrow. If you want to jump on, have a chat. Well, if you're driving a coach. Have you seen that show? Oh, what's it called? From. Watch that show From, mate. It's fucking scary shit. Hope you're all right, Mark. See you soon, brother. See you, brothers. Thanks for the chat, everyone. Enjoyed it. You can watch it again anytime. Like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff. Share it around. Take care. Enjoy. Go the Dogs. Go the Blues. Love you, mate. Thanks for the potty. Go the Dogs. Go New South Wales. You too, brother. Thanks, Mad Wally. You too, Jamie. See you later, everyone.